What'd you say?
Oh, nothing.
It's gonna quit working today.
No. I figured it out.
Okay, I think we're good to go here.
Sweet.
All right, so I will bring us in. You guys did play Gremlins, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Gremlins.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Double Dragon 2.
Yeah. I might remember enough about that game, though, to fake it.
All right. Oh, hey Justin.
What's up, man?
Not much, dude. Happy New Year to you and yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, first show of the new year.
The 2017 dudes.
And,
What year did we start this? Was it
uh,
2013?
like 1993, I think.
I think so.
We didn't record any of those, but
Before podcasting was started.
yeah.
Yeah.
And who better to bring the new year in with us than Bert the Stormtrooper?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Welcome, Bert. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Hey, I think I'm gonna have to go get my sunglasses.
Yeah, you got
There's a glare on my face.
quite the glare on your face. It must be reflecting off all that snow that we have, right?
Yeah. We got so much, I think maybe an inch and a half.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for East Tennessee, that's like Snowmageddon, as they call it.
Yeah. Did you have some milk sandwiches?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because everybody went and got the milk and bread.
Yeah.
Everybody always goes to the store, and I took a picture of I went to go get a case of beer, but I happened to see that the milk freezer, or the milk fridge, was just completely empty.
Yeah.
For an inch and a half of snow.
Mm-hmm.
That lasted half a day.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about Double Dragon 2.
All right.
Yeah, and we got Bert on, and I think Bert originally had wanted to talk Double Dragon 1, but we covered that one like episode 2.
Yeah,
long time ago.
The famous episode 2 where
Tom Arnold first appeared.
Tom Arnold would be impressed. First came around.
Nice.
I was recording that episode in a basement.
That's true. I was recording in the basement too.
That's right. Basement bro. Basement dude.
Basement dudes, yeah. That's right. No, but we're going to talk about Double Dragon 2 today, the sequel. Yeah. And I guess let's just kick into it. You got some history for us, Justin?
Sure.
And Bert, feel free, if you know more history than we do, jump right on in.
Sure, thank you. I've got a kind of a mixed bag with Double Dragon. See, I was an arcade kid, so my first exposure to Double Dragons 1 and 2 was in the arcade. So when I first saw them on the Nintendo, I was like, "What the heck is this? This isn't Double Dragon. This sucks."
Yeah.
I was in the minority that did not like Double Dragon on Nintendo. And didn't come to like them until later on when I really just kind of came to appreciate the platforming aspects of it. But you know what I have found over the years talking with people is that it's typically this very common to see that anybody whose first exposure was Nintendo's version, I find that they did not like the arcade. In fact, a friend of mine who had the Nintendo version, when I saw his game, I said, "Dude, this is a Double Dragon. Come to the arcade with me. I'm going to show you real Double Dragon." And he did not like the arcade because his first exposure had been Nintendo. And the other way around, when people that I talked to that had first seen it in the arcade originally didn't like the Nintendo version. So they're just such different games. But when you can appreciate them for what they are, they're actually, both versions are very, very good.
I agree. I think I'm actually in the same boat where I don't really get all that into the arcade because I grew up on the Nintendo. So you're pretty much right. But Double Dragon 2, Justin, when did that one show up for the Nintendo?
So Double Dragon 2 for the arcade launched in 1988. And obviously, as Bert has brought up, it was quite different from the 1990 NES version that was eventually released. But it did have some differences from the original Double Dragon, most notably a co-op mode.
That's right.
Yeah, and so Technos Japan was the developer and publisher of the game. It was licensed to Acclaim to be released in the United States and Canada. And when it was brought to the United States for the NES, it was like I said, a port from the arcade version. Now the designer Yoshihisa, wait a minute, Yoshihisa Yoshihisa Kishimoto.
Yeah.
Who designed the original Double Dragon as well as Double Dragon 2, who worked for Technos Japan, who started out working for a company, Data East, and he originally started working on Laserdisc games. Yeah.
Oh.
You may remember the old Laserdiscs?
Yeah, I remember the discs. I don't remember playing any games on them.
I don't remember playing any games. I remember like movies. I remember in like elementary school that I think that was like supposed to be like the next big thing that never came about.
I remember being just amazed by. I didn't have one, but I had a friend who had one. When I went over to his house, it was like the size of a record, but it was a CD basically. Yeah. And I remember thinking at the time, "Wow, things are never going to sound better than this. This is just the pinnacle of sound right here." And I guess it kind of still could be, because everybody's, now that we've moved to digital, it's kind of, everything's all compressed and stuff. So
yeah,
it doesn't sound as good as it used to. But CDs were pretty much on par with Laserdisc, I think.
Now I think that's interesting. I was reading an article not too long ago about how we've given up quality for convenience.
Mm-hmm.
It was talking about like MP3s and, listening to like streaming audio and how much lower quality it actually is than CDs.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, nobody buys CDs anymore. In fact, when I went to buy the new Metallica CD, it was like, this is the first CD I bought in like forever.
Yeah.
I just got that for Christmas too.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing. When's the last time I had a CD? I just go put them on my computer on the iPod and be done with them.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it was almost a weird feeling.
What'd you think of? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't have any CDs. The only CD I have one CD, and I actually got it for Christmas too. It's a CD of my grandfather playing, like the lap steel. He actually built it himself. It's pretty cool. So he built his own guitar really cool. And then recorded himself on like a tape player, like a track player, and then my mom eventually transferred it to CD. So I don't know if I'll always keep the CD. I guess eventually I'll make it digital, but I mean, it's kind of something, it's a CD, so it's pretty cool. I thought that's pretty cool.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I was going to ask Justin what he thought of the new Metallica CD.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's one of the best. I think their best probably since the Black Album.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, it's agreed. So good. Have you listened to, I don't know if you guys listened to the podcast Song Exploder or not, but they were just on there talking about one of their songs off that CD or that album.
Mm-hmm.
Moth to the Flame.
Yeah.
They actually go on the podcast Song Exploder is about like breaking down songs, and they actually, Lars and it's escaped me. James, yeah, Lars and James go on there and talk about how that song was made and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, if anyone from Metallica is ever talking anywhere about anything, it's Lars and James.
Yeah.
It's like they don't ever let the other two guys talk.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. And usually it's just a bunch of Lars, because he's, I don't know why he talks so much.
He likes to hear himself talk.
I think he does, yeah. That's all right.
Yeah. But anyway, so...
Hey, wait, while we're in this little pause, we forgot to let Bert talk about his stuff. He used to have a YouTube channel, which I'm sure he'll get back to eventually. But Bert, would you like to tell people about your stuff, what you do?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't used to have it.
Well, I mean, I know you used to record more frequently. You take a little break, right? Like
I've got a YouTube channel called Bert the Stormtrooper, where I do reviews of mostly Transformers. It originally started with an idea to review only Optimus Prime figures, because That's the one that I like to collect the most, and I've got a good 200-300 Optimus Primes. I have no idea. I haven't counted in years.
You have quite the
I have,
room behind you.
yeah, I've got hundreds of Optimus Prime figures, and a lot of times when you're collecting some of these older, harder to get ones, you have to wait for them, and you have to buy them online, and then you have to wait for them to get delivered. And what I like to do is go online and watch reviews of the figure, and that kind of gives me a little bit of a fix while I'm waiting for the figure to be delivered. And what I found was that a lot of the older figures haven't gotten reviewed because everybody wants to review the new figure. That's what gets a lot of hits. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to review the latest and the greatest, but nobody really reviews the old stuff. So it occurred to me, well, what if somebody had an all-inclusive, just Optimus Prime, old, new, in the middle, third party, what have you. So that's where the idea started from. So I started a review series called That's Just Prime, where I review nothing but. And then, as I started to pick up a little bit of speed, people started asking me to review other things. So eventually I started doing other Transformers, and then I started doing Ninja Turtle stuff, and I started doing Voltron, and it just kind of kept going and going and going. And I started doing like blogs from the car. I just kind of mount the camera on the dash and talk into it as I drive. I did a couple of convention videos, and it just kind of grew, and it picked up some speed, and it was doing good. So the channel is called Bert the Stormtrooper. Like Michael was saying, I'm currently not recording anything. I stopped recording about 5 months ago. Just took a break from recording because of some personal stuff, some life stuff. And then also I'm reorganizing my room, which gives me nowhere to record, really. My recording table is covered in proton pack parts at the moment. So, yeah. So,
you also do a lot of I'm having a rough time. Cosplay. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. It's a case of beer kicking in.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It was a long weekend full of snow and beer. Okay.
I wish we had snow. I missed the snow, man. Here in Florida, it dropped 5 degrees. That's our winter.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. What part of Florida are you in?
I'm about an hour north of Tampa.
Okay.
Well, I'm right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right in the middle. I used to live up there closer to where you guys are. I used to live up in northern Tennessee.
Oh.
Yeah, my wife and I were both in the Army, so her last duty station, I got out before she did, but her last duty station was in Fort Campbell.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Huh?
So, but yeah, so getting back to the channel, I haven't been recording over the last couple of months because of everything going on in here, but I do plan to start making videos again. I haven't stopped buying stuff, so I've got plenty of stuff available to review, and I hope to start doing that soon. But in the meantime, if for those who haven't seen the channel, there's a couple hundred videos there to keep you occupied until I start recording new ones.
Nice. Yeah. And I think that hoser Rob would be really jealous of that thing hanging from your ceiling.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm a little jealous myself.
Turtle blimp?
Yeah, the turtle blimp.
Yeah, the old I got an old Ninja Turtles on that side of the room over there. I don't know if you can see it. I've got a 100% complete turtle there, and right next to that, I've got a 120% complete Technodrome.
Nice.
Sweet.
And so I've got all the old turtles here, and then my daughter has the new turtles in her room, and she has the new blimp hanging from her ceiling, and the new lair and all that stuff. So yeah.
All right, Justin, let's get back to Double Dragon 2.
All right. I really don't remember kind of where we left off.
I don't either. Just start somewhere.
Where were we?
I'm just going to kind of... so it was brought by Technos, Yoshihisa Kishimoto. Look, see, I can do it pretty good the second time around.
Yeah, well, that's where we left off. You were struggling to do that name, but you're good now, sounds like.
Yeah. Yoshihisa Kishimoto.
Yoshihisa.
Yeah. Who started out, that's where we stopped, because I said, he got to start in laser discs. And as anytime somebody brings up laser discs, it brings up a whole new conversation. You can't just pass over laser discs.
That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
We got into the laser disc conversation.
Right. But he did a lot of famous works for the NES, not just Double Dragon 2. Also, Super Dodgeball, which we talked about, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And was a part of all the Double Dragon games that ever was, I guess you can say. Ever was, ever will be, maybe? I don't know.
Whatever you
but
say.
Anyway.
There's only 2 Double Dragon games. That's it. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
1 and 2. That's it.
I see what you're saying. I see. I'm on your page. I'm on the same page with you. I'm on the same page. Okay. All right. But I'm going to kind of wrap up history here and let Michael tell us where he got this game. Did you have this game? Did you go on a big quest?
Okay.
To find this game?
I'm not 100% sure where I got this game, but I've had it for a long time. I'm pretty sure it came from Neighbor Kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the Neighbor Kid games, but I remember playing it with him when we were kids. And I'm guessing, I can't remember if it was his or mine, but since I don't really remember getting it for Christmas or anything like that, I'm pretty sure it was his, and then it just transferred to me at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a Neighbor Kid game, but I played it a ton with him when we were kids because it was, we always wanted to play Double Dragon, the first one, but you couldn't do that 2-player. But you could finally do it 2-player on this one. So I remember playing with him a lot. But so it probably came from him during that transitional period where he gave me all his games, which I'm still thankful for, Neighbor Kid. If you're out there listening, appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, Bert, you got a cool. I'm sure you have this game, right? I know you showed us the arcade cabinet for maybe the original Double Dragon. I don't know if you have 2 or not, but you got a cool story for this game?
I'm currently restoring an original Double Dragon cabinet. That'll be my 4th arcade game actually that I'll have in the house. But what I'm planning on doing with that one is I plan to get both a Double Dragon 1 and a Double Dragon 2 board. Put them both in the cabinet with a switcher. That way, I'll have both of the games in.
Cool.
Yeah, because when it's a neat idea to have both of them, but when you have limited house space, you got to get creative. So I figured I'd just put them both in one cabinet.
Yeah, that works. What about the NES game? Do you have it?
NES game, I have. I don't know how long I've had it, to be honest with you. I had my original Nintendo collection. I sold back in like 2003, 2004, before we moved to Florida. And then I started recollecting all my video games a couple of years ago. So I know that I bought this one from a friend of mine who owns a retro video game store. But originally, I don't know where my original one came from. A lot of people, once Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 and, further advanced consoles were coming out, people were just not paying attention to Nintendo. When I was in the Army, I was still huge into Nintendo. Mm-hmm. So people would just give me their games. When they would get rid of them, they just give them to me. Nice. So I don't know where my original one came from.
Yeah. So basically you sold all your games before you moved to Florida. So a bunch of Bert's NES games are floating around Tennessee, Mike.
Yes, they are.
I may have one.
I'd have them.
A lot of my original boxed games, my boxed Mega Man and my boxed Ninja Gaiden, all ended up there.
I have a boxed Mega Man. It may have been yours.
Really?
It wasn't mine originally. I think I bought it somewhere.
Did it still have the baggie in it with all the booklets and instructions and all that?
It had the instructions though. It didn't have the black baggie. It had the foam in the bottom. So
yeah, mine had the foam. I kept all my games that I bought new originally. I was OCD enough to keep so much, even the little baggies that they came inside of the box. Everything was included. So when I sold all my stuff, it was as if it was the day that it was bought originally.
Ah, very nice. It didn't have Bert the Stormtrooper written all over it, did it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So it could be it. It could be it. All right, let's talk about the game then. Really, for me to start talking about this game, you kind of have to compare it to the first one because this was a pretty big leap forward as far as the NES games go from Double Dragon 1 to 2.
Yeah, it was. Big, majorly different.
Yeah.
In both style and gameplay.
Mm-hmm. I will say that originally and still a little bit, get so torn up about the front attack thing. I still can't decide if I like it or not. because I'm so used to. I played Double Dragon the first one way more than I played the second one. Even though Neighbor Kid and I played the second one, I still played the first one more. And I'm a big fan of the first one. And the gameplay, which for anybody that hasn't played Double Dragon 2, the first one, you have a kick button and a punch button, and everything's forward facing, right? Well, when in Double Dragon 2, you have a front attack and back attack. So the back attack is a kick. It's like this weird yoga looking move where he like kicks back, and then the front attack is a punch. Well, there's combos and stuff depending on how many times you attack in each direction. But for me, having the forward and back attack just really kind of threw me off because I played the first Double Dragon so many times. And most other beat 'em up games don't play like that either. You know, most of them are just front attacks, right?
It's an interesting.
That was another one of those things that was carried over from the arcade machine. That was a big change in the arcade. The arcade version had 3 buttons. You had a punch, a kick, and a jump. And they were kind of laid out in a triangle pattern where your jump was up top, and then below that you had punch or kick next to each other. When they went from 1 to 2, what they did was they changed it to where the left button would do a left attack and the right button would do a right attack. And that would depend on which way you were facing, whether you would punch or kick. So if you were facing to the left and you hit the left button, you would punch. But if you were facing right and hit the left button, then he would do that backwards kick. Yeah. And it was really awkward to get used to at first, but once you got used to it and you realized it was really helpful to get you out of situations where you were being crowded in. When you got guys coming in from both sides, you could actually use those buttons to get yourself out of those situations where you got people, in front of and behind you. You didn't have to turn around. You could just attack somebody behind you right away. So that was something that they carried over to the NES game. And you've got your B button is left attack, A button is right attack. If you notice, when you turn around, it's the same thing. You may be kicking, and then it'll be kicking behind you. If you turn around, he no longer kicks. Now he's punching. Yeah,
they really force you into using it too. Like they surround you with people all the time. Like every time, they always try to surround you. And I think that your guy, Billy or Jimmy or whoever you are, if you start using the Bimmy, if you start using the back attack, he'll turn around and start punching too. Like if you start in on a combo from behind, he'll automatically turn around and start punching. So it takes a minute to get used to. You can't. It's hard to go from like what I did this time playing. I want to get a refresher on the first Double Dragons. I played the first one a little bit, and then I started playing 2, and it's really almost a bad approach to the game because it really throws you off when you go to 2. But the more you play 2, the more you get used to this front back thing, and it actually kind of works. But I'm still in my head. I'm trying to figure it out. You know.
Yeah, there's a learning curve if you're coming from the first one because that was another one of the big changes. Everybody always talks about the big change was that you can play 2 players simultaneous. But the other big change between 1 and 2 was the fact that you start the game off with all the moves. Whereas in the first game, you have to earn them. You have to earn those hearts. And then as you get hearts, you get new moves. Not this time. This time you get all your moves right off of the bat. So if you're coming from the first NES game, there is a little bit of a learning curve. But once you master all the moves, especially that knee kick, you're pretty much going to be all right on the game. It just takes a little bit of getting used to it first, but once you get used to it, you realize it's a much superior game because of it.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump into. I kind of jumped ahead because I really wanted to talk about the new mechanics there, but our usual format is we'll talk about memories from childhood, and then we read from the manual and do all this stuff, right? So I'm going to go back. I'm going to talk about the childhood. So this game, when we got it, talking about me and Neighbor Kid, was like mind-blowing because at the time, we hadn't played a beat 'em up together, right? We got this one before we got Turtles 2, I think. Once we got Turtles 2, we obviously switched to that because big Ninja Turtle fans. But at the time, when we got Double Dragon 2, this was like mind-blowing because we could both at the same time play this game where we walked around beating people up, and it just blew our minds. So we played it constantly, probably until one of us got Turtles 2, the arcade game. And actually, no, until we got Turtles 3, because now I don't think either one of us ever had Turtles 2. I think we talked about that on the Turtles 2 episode. I know I never had it, and I didn't get it from him whenever he gave me all his games. So I guess we never had Turtles 2, believe it or not. So until we had Turtles 3, we played Double Dragon 2 all the time. So it was just really it was really a good experience for us as kids to have this. This was the first beat 'em up where we could play co-op, and it was really pretty cool. So that's my childhood memory about it.
Yeah. Well, I think going back is an interesting dynamic. You got the front attack, you got the back attack, but what about the Zack attack?
Friends forever, man.
Friends forever.
You need a giant cell phone for that.
Oh man, I've been holding that joke for like 10 minutes, waiting for you guys to let me in. So I can throw in Zack attack.
Yeah. That's the Zack attack. Is you get your giant brick-sized cell phone and you hurl it at somebody.
Yeah, and you sing into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Friends forever.
Always will be friends. Hey, have you heard the Saved by the Bell theory? I heard it on the Cracked podcast the other day about how the first season where they're with Miss Bliss or whatever is the real life, and then all the rest of the seasons are just like Zach's daydreams while he's in Miss Bliss's class.
I've never heard that.
So if you think about it, because the Miss Bliss is kind of normal. He doesn't do the freeze time thing and talk to the camera and all that stuff. He doesn't do any of that stuff in the Miss Bliss episodes. It's just straightforward kids at school. But then all of a sudden he's in Bayside, which is all the way across the country, because the Miss Bliss stuff took place in like Illinois or something like that. So
Did
now, yeah, it wasn't in California.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it wasn't in California. It was somewhere else. It was like in Illinois or somewhere in the Midwest or something like that. So all the Miss Bliss stuff is normal, and it's on the other side of the country. And then all of a sudden, he's in California with some of his friends from Miss Bliss's class. It's like, did all their families decide to move at the same time,
Yeah.
Zach's family moves to California, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, Screech is going to move too, and Lisa. But
Well, that would explain why he had two dads. Because with Miss Bliss, he had one dad with a different name who was single, and he was hitting on Miss Bliss. And then when they were in Bayside, he had another dad with another name who was married to his mom.
Yeah, so it's almost like when he in his dreams, he wanted a different dad, right? One that was married,
One that was married to mom.
Yeah. And then he has these time freezing powers where he'll stop time, talk to the camera, and so I just thought that was pretty funny.
I've never heard that.
Interesting theory.
It is an interesting theory. Huh.
These fan theories, they just go crazy sometimes. But still, I liked it.
Yeah.
So, I guess we could read from the manual. I don't have it pulled up though. I
Yes.
goofed on that one.
I would get it pulled up, so we can read that.
Yeah, I'll do that. But in the meantime, why don't you guys talk about the fact that somebody dies in this game? That kind of blew my mind too as a kid.
Yeah.
His girlfriend just gets murdered.
Marion, I think her name is.
Marion. Maid Marion.
Are you guys familiar with the arcade version?
I'm not.
No, not the second one. I played the first one, but I have never played the second one.
So in the first one, there's the intro to the game. Marion is just standing in the street, and these thugs just walk up, punch her in the stomach, throw her up over their shoulder, and walk away. And it was a little bit controversial because when they throw her up over their shoulder, you can see her panties as they're walking away with her.
Oh no!
So yeah, so that was the intro to the first one. So they go in, they rescue her. The second one is the revenge. You have an almost identical intro where she's just standing there in the street, and you see the same group of thugs, and you think, here they go again. They're gonna punch her and they're gonna take her away. No, they pull out a machine gun and they shoot her dead right there in the streets.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a little omitted from the Nintendo version.
Yeah,
they just shoot her dead. That's the first thing you see when you pop your quarter in.
For the Nintendo version, that's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna try to share this screen. Let's see what happens, because I like for you guys to see what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, there is a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah,
that's what they say. As I talk in riddles. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
I lost Justin.
Yeah, I lost Bert. Yeah. So your screen share. So for some reason you've stayed up.
Now
Bert's gone away.
But you can still hear each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll probably come back when I get through screen sharing. But you can see the manual, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I like the cover, although she's still alive. Her clothes have been all ripped to shreds, but she's still alive in this picture. And I guess I always thought Billy was the one that had the girlfriend, but I guess it's Jimmy's girlfriend because he's the one holding her. Otherwise, they got a weird brother situation going.
This is a couple weird dudes if that's not the case.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Get ready for revenge.
Oh, I'm ready. This time they've gone too far.
Yep. Oh, wait. Look at the back of the manual. Go head-to-head wireless with the double-player wireless controllers.
Have you ever gotten that close to somebody when playing video games?
No.
I was going to say, not playing video games.
The only time I've ever seen people get that close to each other is maybe before a UFC fight or something.
It was right before a punch is thrown.
Yeah. Or some other things. You never know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, not one another guy.
Did you ever have... Wait, this is 2017 there. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever have these controllers? I have a pair of them. They're...
No kidding.
Yeah, they're okay. They're still pretty terrible, to be honest, but they're okay because...
I don't think I've ever even seen one.
What you have to do is you set up like an IR sensor, like a TV remote, how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You set it up in front of your TV, and then the controllers shoot towards it. So if you aim them just right, it works okay. But imagine the way that your TV remote works. You know how you always have to sit on the couch and hold it way up in the air, and point at the TV, or you have to lean to the side. You got to hit that sensor just right. So because they're not Bluetooth or whatever the technology is now for wireless controllers, they had a tendency to you'd miss a button or there'd be a little bit of a delay. So they weren't great, but at the time they were pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. I have little IR remote control helicopters that I can hide the remote. I can hide behind the couch, under a blanket with a pillow on top of the remote, and I can still fly the helicopter perfectly. But they can't invent a remote control that I can't just point directly at the TV from 2 feet away and make it work.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've got an Apple TV. I can't figure out how this works. Okay, so maybe you can answer this. Maybe it's like your helicopter, or your drone, or whatever. The remote for the Apple TV will adjust the volume of my TV, right? Mm-hmm. Which has to be done via IR. I know you can do it via HDMI, but the way mine's set up, there's no way it can do it via HDMI. Okay, so it has to be doing it via IR, but it's inside. The Apple TV is inside of my, entertainment center, and the remote doesn't have any kind of an IR blaster on it, so I have no idea how it does it. I don't know if it bounces it off the wall or what. It's kind of
so it is IR though.
I'm pretty sure it's IR. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because it's not hooked up to your Wi-Fi. The remote is.
Well, no, the remote, yeah, controlling the Apple TV is definitely via Bluetooth or something, right? But to actually control the volume of the TV, somehow it does it. Yeah, somehow it does it via IR because I set it up to where it would do it via IR, and then it's just I don't know how it does it. I guess you can bounce it off the wall. Magic. It's probably magic.
No, it's just magic. No,
it's magic.
Now I have a Roku, so I don't do Apple TV, but I have a Roku, and the remote to the Roku is Wi-Fi, so it just goes through the Wi-Fi. So you can technically be in the other end of the house and change the channel, but I can't control the volume of the TV.
Yeah. Well, see, the Apple TV can control the volume, and it can just turn everything off, which I think it turns everything off via HDMI because it's plugged into HDMI. And, HDMI can send signal to turn things on and off. I guess it can do volume.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's set up to do volume through, I don't know. Anyways, that's a dumb tangent that we didn't have to go on. It was just, I thought maybe somebody could give me some answers because I'm confused.
When I was a kid, my mom had a voice-controlled remote control for the TV.
Ahead of the time.
Oh, sweet.
No, yeah, it was called Her Kids. She just told us to get up and go change the channel.
Nice.
Alexa be darned.
Did she name? Yeah. What if your name was Alexa? Huh? That's way ahead of your time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
Speaking
lot.
of which, did you know that Alexa? I don't like this Alexa thing. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
It takes a recording of everything that's said in your house, and you can like read the transcript. It's basically like bugging your own house.
That's creepy.
Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't get one. I thought I was going to get one for Christmas, but I didn't. Crabman got one for Christmas.
it's a pretty neat thing, but I mean, that's a little.
It's a bit much, right? And you can't turn that off.
Yeah,
It's always
I-
listening.
yeah. So, just FYI.
Have you played with one yet? They're pretty interesting how they just pick up on everything.
No, I haven't played with one.
You just say Alexa and she just does whatever you want. It's pretty crazy.
Does she?
Like, been telling Crabmans to do weird stuff.
Yeah. I tried to program it to where it would know that his name is Crabman. So he would say something about Alexa and he'd be like, she'd say, "Sure, Crabman, I'll turn down the lights." But she couldn't do that. So
Yeah.
sucks if you ask me. She can't even know that his name is Crabman.
Throw that thing away.
She kept calling him Josh.
Yeah. Ugh.
I know. All right, let's get back to this manual.
Okay.
The Black Shadow Warriors. They've gunned down your girl, and you and your brother Jimmy Lee are out for revenge. In your quest, you'll encounter nunchaku-toting enemy gangs. You'll battle through dangerous alleyways and in underwater tunnels. But nothing is too much for you two, because you're trained masters of the invisible martial art of the Double Dragon. Dun, dun, dun.
The invisible martial art.
Yeah. Okay, this time they've gone too far, all right? Nuclear war has ravaged the city, and a gang of ruthless criminals, the Black Shadow Warriors, are trying to take over. They're danger with a capital D. Thugs and muggers, tough street chicks, greasers and hoods, high jumpers and karate choppers, plus burly bosses, gruesome giants, and freaky androbots. Okay, never heard of that.
I guess that's like an android.
It's Android robots, man. You never heard of an Android robot? Come on.
Is that kind of like a monster in disguise?
Yes.
Sorry. Anyways, first they hit the universally famous Double Dragon Dojo. I didn't know that was universally famous, but I guess it is. Maybe after the
It is
first
now.
game, it became universally
Yeah.
famous. The home of the Double Dragon Warriors. Martial arts students there were in constant training, building their strength, developing their invisible moves, owning their skills. Invisible moves. So, like, you don't even have to punch to hit them.
Did you see that? I just did one.
I didn't see it. Oh, man.
Exactly.
Oh, why's my face hurting? But they weren't powerful enough or fast enough because somehow the Black Shadow Warriors managed to overcome every one of the men in training, and then they've committed the ultimate crime. They've gunned down your girl, Marion. So, they show up, shoot Marion, and now you've got to go get revenge.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh Lord, there's more story. Feel free to go read the manual yourself. I figured that would be a great place to stop, but they decided it wasn't.
Wait, I like this though.
Okay, you
The
read it.
punches. Okay. You'll have to use every Double Dragon martial arts move you've mastered. The punches and kicks, the elbow smashes and jump kicks, the hair pulls and hair throws, even the incredible spinning cyclone and hyper uppercut.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hyper uppercut.
I like the hyper uppercut. Okay.
Getting ready for revenge. It basically tells you how to turn on your Nintendo.
Yeah. Right. Did you know the game here the manual here lets you know that if you pick 2P play, it requires 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So don't pick 2P play if it's just you, because you have 2
Yeah.
players. Yeah. So this brings up an interesting question I don't think we've ever addressed on the show. Let me turn off my screen share. All right, can you see each other again?
Yeah.
Probably. Sweet. All right, so this brings up an interesting question to me and to you about the nature of beat 'em up games. This game has a 2-player A mode and 2-player B mode. One where you can hurt each other, and one where you can't hurt each other. How do you guys normally play a game like that?
By myself.
By yourself.
That's the best. Okay. Yeah. Usually by myself. But I would have to go teamwork.
Teamwork? Well, you're still kind of doing teamwork, but you can hit each other, right? So it's like if you're both on the same screen, you're going to fight the same guy, okay? Mm-hmm. And you don't surround him, let's say. You're fighting them both in the same direction. Well, in the B mode, you can be punching each other instead of the guy.
Accidentally punch each other.
So
yeah, my brother and I always played with without being able to hit each other. Which now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I think it's weird because in the arcade you could hit each other, and that's what we played the most. Mm-hmm. Whereas where you could actually hit each other, and we did a good job of staying away from each other and not hurting each other because the object was team play. For some reason, when we played on Nintendo, any beat 'em up, in fact, that had the option of where you could hit each other, we always turned that off. And I'm sitting here trying to think about it. I don't know why that is. I guess it's just an advantage that we took of.
Yeah.
I always turned it off. I guess it's there for realism, maybe, that you can hit each other, or just to make the game harder. But the realism thing I throw out the window because I'm sorry. If Justin and I are punching on Bert here, I'm not going to accidentally hit him. Unless it's just a flurry of fists with my eyes closed. I'm just...
Yeah, just
so the realism I don't buy that. But if you want to just make the game a little harder, I guess maybe that's it.
Yeah,
this game's pretty hard on its own, in my opinion. Maybe it's just because I never did master the front back thing. But I never really was very good at this game.
If you can master, there's a knee kick move, where when you jump. And he lands. Your character will land in a crouch, and you've got I think it's about 4 frames there, where you can tap the both buttons, and your character will perform a knee jump. It's got to be timed just right. But if you can master that move, you can play through most of the game with just one-hit kills. So there's a little bit of a cheat for you.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. Here's where I always get stuck. And I think it's the second, maybe the third level, okay, where you get to the helicopter and there's these 2 ninjas. They look like the ninjas from Strider. They look like the guy from Strider, and they're just running around and they're jumping, and I can't ever get a good hit on them, and they always plow through me. Now sometimes I can beat them on occasion, but by the time I do, I have no life left basically. So, like, when I go to the next level, I just have maybe 1 more life and I die. So, I can't ever figure those guys out. I don't even know if I could do this knee thing you're talking about on those guys because they're just jumping all over the place. I can't stand it. I hate those guys. So, somebody gives me a strategy for that, then I'll...
The spin kick and knee kick is what you want to do on that one.
Spin kick, okay.
Yeah, you know how to do the spin kick, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you just jump up when they're running at you and do the spin kick because there's a good chance they're going to jump up at you. So if they do, you're going to get them there. And if they don't, when you land, you do the knee kick and you'll get them on that one.
Okay, we'll have to try that. Thanks.
Did you pull that off, Mike?
No, probably not. But thanks for the tip. Maybe eventually I'll figure it out.
The cyclone spinning kick.
Yes.
What was it called? What did it call it?
Cyclone spinning kick.
Spinning cyclone.
The spinning cyclone and the hyper uppercut.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That sounds like a move from Street Fighter.
One thing that is pretty cool about this game, and I think it's the second level, where you're climbing up and down pipes and jumping across buildings. There's a little bit of platforming in this game. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is fine. I do like the platforming in this game. It's not just a straight beat 'em up. It's a little bit of platforming as well.
Yeah, they do the platforming. They do actually do the platforming well. I thought, because there's not. I think what helps is there's not a lot of instant knockback, where you jump and then they hit you and then you go flying across the screen. Like in the first game, they had some platforming, but what would happen is you would jump and the second you land, you get hit and then you go flying backwards and then you fall down a hole or something. This game, they kind of toned that down a little bit, I think. So the platform is a little bit easier. But it's still pretty fun. And it kind of turns into a side-scrolling instead of I know it's a side scrolling beat 'em up anyways, but this is like straight up 2D. You can't go up and down anymore. Whenever you that on that level, and I guess there's a later level, at least one that's like that too. So I thought that was pretty cool. The side scrolling stuff and the jumping and the platforming.
Yeah, there's a part of the game later on, right before you get to what they call the trap room mission, where the game pretty much goes Mega Man on you with platforms that appear and disappear, and you have to time them just right to jump on each to get to the top where the door is at. And if you miss them, you're going to fall into a pit of spikes and die. So I don't know if you've gotten that far.
No, I've never got that far, actually.
Yeah, the game pretty much turns Mega Man on you at that point.
Here's the problem that happens to me. The reason I've never really gotten very far is because I've not played this game a lot by myself, right? Usually I play 2-player, and especially 2-player on those jumping sections and stuff, it gets really difficult to have 2 people jumping those gaps and fighting the guys and stuff. So
Right.
it's really hard. It's actually more difficult to play this game 2-player than it is to play 1-player, I think. So I haven't played it a lot 1-player, so I think that's probably why I've never made it very far. But I might have to take some of those tips and see if I can get further. Because it's a fun game. I do enjoy it, but I've just never been able to make it very far because I usually go for the 2-player when I play this game.
That is an interesting aspect about it. Not just this game, but a lot of Nintendo games is that 2-player sounds fun, and it is fun. But you're going to get to a point where it's like, it's going to hold you back. And if you want to play the game to beat the game, it's almost better to play single player.
Yeah.
At least games with co-op. Let me just say that.
Yeah. I agree. So what about the graphics of this game? It's a pretty big jump forward, I think, from the first one. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think the graphics are great. It's like a tale of two. It's a tale of two Nesses, a book by Charles Dickens. You got the original Double Dragon versus this Double Dragon is almost like two different two different ends of the spectrum. Now, apparently this game had a co-processor, and that's why the graphics were so much better.
Huh.
I don't know what that means. Cartridge? I don't know what that means. Yeah.
It probably means that they put a chip in the cartridge to make it work better. They do that with sound sometimes too, and a few NES games. Pretty rare, but that's pretty cool. Do you know more about that, Bert?
No idea. I've never heard that before.
Huh. That's pretty cool if they did that to make the graphics better. I know that there's a little bit of I love the graphics, but whenever I was playing, I experienced a little bit of like slowdown and like I don't know. Nowadays you'd call it screen tearing, but back then I don't know what you called it. Just where the sprite flickers and like things look weird in the corner. It may have just been that my cartridge was dirty, but or it may have been the fact that I was playing on Retron 5. But I seem to recall some of that when we were kids too. Like you get 2-player going. There's a lot of bad guys on the screen. There's a little bit of sluggishness to the game, but it's really not that bad. I've played games that were much worse than this one, as far as that's concerned. But I did notice a little bit of that. But that happens when there's a lot going on, and when you got a lot of detail in the graphics like you do in this game. I think this is basically when they get to this point in the graphics of the Double Dragon games. This is kind of what you experience in all the rest of the Double Dragon games for the NES. So 3 and the versus Battletoads, or not versus, and Battletoads game. It's pretty much the same graphics for all those at this point. I mean, it's like they transition from the original Double Dragon to this one, and then now this is what you're going to get as far as Double Dragon games go.
Yeah.
So
this is the point at which they have no return.
Yes, the point they're not going back on graphics now.
Right.
What about the sound and music?
I like the sound of music. It really...
It's a good movie. Sound of music.
It's the sound of music, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry.
Or is the Sound of Fury? What's the Sound of Fury? Is it the Helen Keller movie?
What?
Helen Keller movie?
What's the Sound of Fury? I thought there was there was a movie about Helen Keller, and it might have been called something like that.
Okay.
I gotta look that up.
Sound and Fury is a documentary film. This is not the one I was thinking about. The Sound and the Fury is a novel written by William Faulkner. I don't know. Okay, never mind.
Okay,
There,
all right.
it is. The movie is about American families with young deaf children. That's what I had that confused with something else. But anyway,
Well,
You know.
Helen Keller was deaf, so you got half right.
yeah.
Okay, so with the sound, you like the sound and the music in this game, right?
Love the music in this game. Much better than the first one.
I love the music in this game too. I don't know if I would say it's much better than the first one. For myself, I think it's kind of in the same wheelhouse as the first one. They kind of have the same kind of music. It's definitely better than the first one. I don't know if I'd throw that much in there for myself, but I agree with you that the music is much improved from the first one. It's a lot more technical sounding, and it sounds awesome. I love the music in this game.
Yeah. I agree.
No complaints across the board.
No complaints. Yeah.
All right. Sweet. So I guess it's time to do. Is it fun? Is it worth it?
So, the price of which it's going for is between $10 and $15. You can find it online.
Not bad, actually.
Yeah.
Then for me, I would definitely say it's worth it. Then $10 to $15. Yeah, I love this game for that. It's a good price.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed. $10 to $15. It's an absolute must pick up.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. I just had this moment where I realized that we're doing a timely game. They're coming out with a Double Dragon 4. Have you guys seen that?
No, what?
No, I have not seen that.
Yes, they're coming out with a double. I didn't even think about this. The fact that we're doing a Double Dragon game right around the time that they're talking about doing a Double Dragon 4. They're coming out with a Double Dragon 4. It looks awesome.
What's it being released for?
I think it's like PS4, Xbox, Steam, that kind of thing. I believe. But
It's being released in January 2017 for the PlayStation 4 and Microsoft Windows, which I guess that means Xbox One.
see how timely we are with this?
Look at
Didn't
that.
even do it on purpose.
30th anniversary.
God, we're so awesome. Anyways, the the game, the only thing I saw, it looked pretty awesome. The graphics are still kind of the same as they always were, and it looks good. It looks good. So I recommend everybody go look up videos and stuff for that because it's looks like it's gonna be awesome. And it's coming out pretty much now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so awesome. Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to distract from that. The reason it made me think of it is $10 to $15. I was going to say it's about the price of a downloadable game, and it's about the quality of a really good downloadable game. So that's why I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I will say the only negative I have about the game really is the front back attack thing, and that's really something that once you get used to it, it's kind of it's clever and it's unique for a beat 'em up to have something unique in it. That's always a good thing, right? Because beat 'em ups are a dime a dozen, especially now that we're in this day and age. Looking back, there's just millions of beat 'em up. It feels like so. Having a unique thing is actually a good thing, even if it takes a minute to get used to. So for me, at first I didn't like that when I went back to play it, but the more I played it, the more I got used to it, and the more I realized it's unique, and having that unique quality to it's pretty smart.
Once you master it, it gives you an advantage. I'm watching the trailer for Double Dragon 4. They're using the same graphics, the same style graphics that they used on the NES games for 1 and 2.
Yep.
So the character sprites all look like they did in the Nintendo version, which is really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you get to the part where like they throw and kick and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Where, like throws the guy and kicks. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, this
Anyway.
looks incredible.
Yeah,
I'm definitely getting this.
Yeah, I am too. All right. Did you guys come up with any trophies?
I have like 2, maybe.
Okay. I've got a couple. Justin, you got any?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Justin, we'll let you start.
Well, just for nostalgia's sake, I got to
For the nostalgia steak.
Yeah.
I love that nostalgia steak. Tastes so
steak.
good.
Good taste in the steak, the nostalgia steak.
Hey, wait, real quick. Speaking of steak, because we can do plenty of tangents on this show. This is a tangent on a tangent. We can do plenty of tangents on this show because I totally forgot to ask for feedback in the Facebook groups and stuff.
Yeah, I noticed
So
that.
we can do. It's the holidays. I just forget.
Yeah.
But anyways, we can do plenty of tangents. The other tangent I was going to say is steak. The Ingles, the new Ingles in Lunar City. Okay, this is local and maybe global, depending on where Ingles are. Ingles are, the Ingle are, depending on where there's an Ingle.
Yeah.
They do this steak night thing where they actually have a sit down restaurant inside the Ingles. You can sit down and have a steak.
Are you serious?
Yes, I've heard it's good too. I've heard it's really good.
Huh? Do they do that like in Lunar City?
Yeah, they do it at the one in Lunar City.
All right.
So there's a sit-down steak restaurant, quote unquote, inside the Ingles in Lunar City.
Well, there you go.
And I'm sure they have it at other Ingles Eye.
Ingles.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's a regional thing for you guys because I'm seeing it up in Mills River, North Carolina also. Friday night is steak night.
Yeah, steak night.
Friday
I'm gonna
night
have to try
steak
it.
night.
Yep.
You guys are pretty close to the North Carolina border, right?
Yep, pretty close. You just got to go over top of the mountains, and then we'll be there. We got the mountains basically right next to us, and then on the other side of the mountains is basically North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Anyway,
sorry.
my nostalgia steak is Tom Arnold would be impressed, and that is beat the game at the highest difficulty level.
Nice. That's good. I had Tom Arnold would be impressed as one of my trophies too for beating the game. So I'll change mine to what it originally was supposed to be way back in the day to Kevin Arnold would be impressed.
Mm-hmm.
So to beat the game not on the highest difficulty, just on regular difficulty is Kevin Arnold would be impressed.
Right.
That's my nostalgia steak.
That's your nostalgia steak. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling the trophies now? Nostalgia steaks?
Yeah. No, that's our new segment where we just talk about old food that we used to eat when we were kids. Nostalgia steak.
Nostalgia steaks. That sounds like a good podcast.
Yeah, it does actually.
Nostalgia steak.
Any listener, feel free to start that podcast. All we request is 25% royalty.
Right.
Of all that podcast money.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
All that
just rolling in
millions of
podcast
dollars.
money.
Side note on that, thank you to the Patreon people. 2016 was a great year, and we appreciate all your support.
Awesome.
Because 2016, we did not have to pay for any of our hosting fees, thanks to the listeners. So thank you for that. Yeah. All right. So, Bert, you got a trophy?
Yeah, it requires to do a voice, and I don't know how good. It's probably going to be really bad. But my first trophy is going to be get to the chopper, and that's beat the chopper level at the end of mission 2.
Did Arnold just join us for the podcast?
You ever wondered where the heck all those people are coming from inside of the helicopter?
I have, actually.
If you're supposed to be in the cargo bay, where the heck are all those people coming? There's no way the cockpit fit that many people. And if it did, that's a terribly designed helicopter.
It's a clown helicopter.
Yeah. It's like the clown car, but it's a helicopter.
Oh, yeah. I got a cheat for that stage, for that part of the helicopter stage right there. If you're about to fall out the door, pause the game.
Uh-huh.
The door is on a timer, and that timer does not stop when the game is paused. So if you've been knocked over and you're getting sucked out the door, pause the game, give it about a 5 count, and then unpause the game, and the door will immediately shut, and you'll be safe.
Cool. Interesting.
Sounds awesome.
All right, Justin, do you have another one?
Yeah. You may be my brother, but today you're my enemy, and that is play as game or 2-player type B, and not just incidentally hit each other, but actually try to hit each other.
Do it on purpose.
Fighting the other guys.
Nice.
So.
Did you know that that's actually a requirement at the end of the game for the? I don't know if I've never beat the arcade, the second one on the arcade, but in the first game, the first arcade game, that is a requirement, is to kill each other at the end of the game if you play two.
I always thought that was cool. We didn't get that on the NES, but I always thought that was cool. And we're at the end, you after you beat the game, you like face each other because it turns out that Jimmy's actually the bad guy or something.
Oh well, not in the arcade. In the arcade version, you get to the end, you beat Willie. That's the guy with the gun.
Yeah.
And but if you make it there in with two players, now you have to fight for the girl.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That's
so then you know if you're playing two players, you have to beat each other up and kill one. Only one of you can get the girl at the end of the game, basically. So, I don't know if that works in that way in the second game. Actually.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out because I've never beat it, so it'd be interesting to find out if that's just like a Double Dragon thing, you know?
I beat the arcade second game just by myself. I've never beat it with another person, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. I've got another one. It's called "It's the End of the World as We Know It, but I Feel Fine," and that is at the beginning of this. That is, play this game and realize that a nuclear explosion or war is taken off, and everything seems just to be perfectly normal. All the buildings are there.
Yeah. No problems.
No problems at all. I mean, there you go. All right, you got another one, Bert?
Yes, and I have to do a voice for it again. A terrible voice.
Awesome.
Get to the choo-choo, and that's that's defeat the train at the end of Mission 4, where you have to fight somebody that kind of oddly enough resembles a little bit of Arnold.
Yeah. All right. I like it. God, we're gonna have to get some promos made with Bert as Arnold.
I know. Yeah.
All right, I don't have any more. That was it for me.
I don't either.
That's it.
No.
How about dancing with myself, and that's defeat your shadow at the end of the game.
Oh,
Right.
I like it.
Cool. I like it. I guess they're the Shadow Warriors are you, sort of.
Yeah, they do this thing where they kind of melt into the floor, and then they show up inside you, and they punch you from inside, and your character does this little dance.
Yeah, I like it. That's the invisible double dragon attack that Justin just demonstrated. Again, I just saw it. I thought, but maybe not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did it. You didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it. But
It was earlier.
Now my butt hurts.
Oh,
Interesting. Does anybody know what movie Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tom Arnold were in
Jingle all the
together?
way.
no, it was the spy movie, True Lies.
True
Yeah,
Lies.
True Lies. No, I always get
It's
Tom
Phil
Arnold and Phil
Hartman.
Hartman mixed up.
Phil
Yeah,
Hartman,
Phil Hartman,
and
yeah.
Jingle All the Way. Yeah.
I get
True
them mixed
Lies.
up.
I love that line when they're at the beginning of the movie when they're escaping and they're driving the van and it's ice, so it's sliding all over the place. It's just hitting side to side, and Tom Arnold just jumps up to the front of the van and yells, "It's called ice, and it gets a little slick." And his delivery of that line just always kills me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well, I
good.
mean, it's Tom
Hey,
Arnold, so.
Yeah, Tom Arnold's awesome. Hey, speaking of, he liked one of our tweets. We're making progress.
Did he
No
really?
kidding.
Yeah. It was during one of the football games where the Iowa Hawkeyes were winning or something. They were
Yeah.
beating somebody, and I think Dude Purcell had. I'm sorry, Dude Purcell.
Uh-huh.
I think he had tweeted something, and we tweeted also said, "Get 'em Hawkeyes," and Tom Arnold liked it.
Game
We're almost
changer.
there. We're almost there. We're so
Game
close.
changer.
Next episode, Tom Arnold.
Yeah. All right. What about a game rating? How do you guys want to rate this game? Type of cat that looks out windows. If anybody sees the video, Justin's cat's just longingfully looking out into the snow.
He wants to
Yeah.
play in the snow.
He doesn't realize it's 8 degrees outside, so.
Yeah.
We've all seen those. We've all seen those cute videos of cats jumping in the snow. They love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dog does that too. She will scratch at the door like, "Oh, I want to go out there," and then the second you take her out there, she's like, "Whoa, no, I want to go back inside." I don't like
Did you
that.
guys? Did you guys see that video that's been circulating around lately? I think they call it Kool-Aid Cat. Where
I don't think so.
This lady opens her door and snow is like waist high, and she's holding a bowl of cat food, I guess, and she's calling out to her cat, and the cat just busts through the snow. There's like an explosion of snow, and the cat's just standing there like that, like just all posed. And every time I show that, when I show that video to my friends or my family, I always yell, "Oh yeah!" when the cat pops through.
Nice. I haven't seen that one. I'll have to look it up. But seriously, how do you want to rate this game? Something unrelated to the game, obviously. Type of...
Type
French Islands.
French Islands?
Oh, I said awkward silence.
Oh.
French Islands. Or French Islands.
Type of French Islands. Only French Islands.
I think I know like one.
I can't think of any. I don't know any French Islands.
Oh, what's the one?
I don't know any. I know there's that one where the airport is right by the beach.
Saint Martin.
Is that San Martin?
Yeah.
Okay, so this game is that.
It's Saint Martin.
Yeah. That's it. St. Martin Island.
Mm-hmm. I want to go to St. Martin Island because I think that'd be so cool to be on that beach.
That would be cool.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to look it up on YouTube because it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, that works. It's an awesome beach. French beach. Works for this game.
10 feet above your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Works for me. That's what Double Dragon 2 is.
It's an awesome game. Go and get it.
It is an awesome game.
Yep.
Final thoughts on the game before we get to... There's a couple phone calls we have for feedback, but we don't have any other feedback because I goofed and forgot to post for feedback. Sorry, guys. But a couple final thoughts on the game. I would say that it's pretty awesome. If you got to get used to the front back attack thing, but as far as NES beat 'em ups go, this one ranks pretty high because it's pretty unique. Mm-hmm. It's we'll get to Double Dragon 3 eventually, but Double Dragon 3 for me is a little too difficult, and this game kind of hits that sweet spot where it's difficult, but it's not as difficult as Double Dragon 3, and it's got all this pretty much the same mechanics and the same. I know Double Dragon 3 has extra characters and stuff, but Double Dragon 2 has pretty much the same mechanics and the same graphics and the same sound, and it's a little bit easier. It's a good place to start, I would say. So, I don't know. I think this game's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody else got any final thoughts?
I agree. I think this game is pretty awesome. It's a great follow-up, and I think even better than the original. So, yeah.
As a kid who was introduced to the games in the arcade and was a Nintendo port naysayer, Double Dragon 2 was the one that brought me into the Nintendo versions, and it was the one that I actually owned the second one for a long time before I owned the first one. So great game. It's the one that brought a naysayer like me and converted me. So awesome game. Check it out.
Nice. I would say if you're going to pick up a Double Dragon game, and you're just going to pick one up, and you have the option of 1, 2, or 3. This one would probably be would be a good go-to.
I thought you were going to say this one would be the gooder.
This one would be the good.
It is the gooder.
It would be the goodest one. It's
the more gooder one.
It's more gooder than all the other ones.
It's more good.
All right. How about you guys want to do a couple phone calls and call it a day?
Let's do it.
All right. This one is really old. This one was supposed to have been for our Halloween episode. It's a ghost story. Remember I asked for ghost stories a long time ago? Mm-hmm. So...
do I need to get my proton pack?
You might. So you need to. It's pretty long.
Just have it on the ready. Just have it on the ready.
Settle in. Have your proton pack ready, just in case the ghost shows up. There it is, hanging on. Wow, that's impressive, actually.
Yeah,
it actually looks pretty realistic.
You haven't seen that?
Shoot lasers. I saw it in your cosplay, but I'd never seen. Never seen it just hanging on the wall.
Oh, my slime blower's not in here. No, I have a slime blower also that I built recently, and I put silly string shooters in it.
So they fly up when you hit it.
So when walking around, I can shoot silly string out of a slime blower.
Nice. Okay, here we go.
What's What's up, dudes? This is Ryan Jackson here. I just wanted to call in over the Thanksgiving holidays. I went back and listened to a bunch of your past episodes because it's fun. And I listened to the Friday the 13th episode. Yes, I know. But it's honestly a lot of fun to hear you guys bash a game just as much as it is to hear you guys talk well of a game. So I was listening to that one. And at the end of that podcast, Michael was talking about he put something out on Facebook or something like that, I forget, about people sharing their favorite ghost stories, and apparently no one did. Well, I have a ghost story that I would like to share, and I will be as brief as possible. And this ghost story is kind of interesting because it really happened to me. So here we go. I promise you that nothing I'm about to say is embellished or exaggerated. This was several years ago. I was walking home after a youth event. I'm a youth pastor, so I was hanging out with teenagers at a park. And it was just after dusk, so it wasn't really light, but it wasn't completely dark. It was that, dark-ish time of night. And I was walking through the woods because our house was about, maybe not even an eighth of a mile away. It had cut through this trail. And here I am in the middle of the woods. It's dark. And all of a sudden, I hear a baby cry. I kid you not. And I stop and I look and I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. And stopped, so I kept walking. And then I heard it again. And I know from horror movies that if you ever hear a baby cry, that's a bad thing. So I'm like, okay, all right, starting to get a little freaked out here. I look over to my right, and I kid you not, there is a white shape that is just moving at a steady pace through the woods. And I'm like, what the crap, right? And I see it, it's cutting through the woods, and it turns and cuts over to the trail that I'm walking on, about, 20 yards away, hops on the trail, and then turns and heads straight for me. And here comes this white shape, and the baby cry is getting louder. And in the movies, when we're watching, and you've always got that one or those couple of people who see something creepy and they just freeze and stare at it, and you're shouting at the screen, move, dummy, move. Well, I'm here to say that their reaction is very real, because that's exactly what I did. I just froze, and I'm watching this white shape and this baby cry noise come right at me. I'm expecting to be either slimed or obliterated or something. I have no idea. And about when it gets about 10 feet away, it finally comes into focus. And it is a man in a white T-shirt pushing a stroller with his baby in it. And he even said something like, hey, what's up?
There you go.
That's good. Ryan's a good storyteller, actually. I was on the edge of my seat.
I know. I was excited.
He does call back because I guess he got cut off. I think he was going to. Say some things about the show too. So let's listen. Let's listen here.
I must have gone too long. Hey, it's Ryan again. Must have gone too long. It cut off. Anyway, it ended up being just a guy with a white T-shirt on, pushing a baby carriage, baby crying, and he was kind of in a hurry. He even said something like, hey, man, what's wrong, as he passed, and I don't even think I responded because I was still getting over my shock, and it literally took a good 10, 15 seconds before I could force myself to move again and head on home. So anyway, that's my ghost story. I guess it's not really a ghost story. It's more of a, I thought it was a ghost, and it was just a dude. Anyway, hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Great to, I was about to say great to talk to you, but I'm not really talking to you. So anyway, keep up the show. Love it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thanks, Ryan. Good storyteller. And you're talking to us. We're talking back right now. See?
Yeah.
May not be a one-on-one back and forth, but it's you talk to us, we talk to you. It's kind of like back in the days of the old Morse code or something,
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Here's some. Okay, we got several calls, at least 2, about peeing in the shower. If you guys want to cover that,
Let's cover
apparently I'm the only one that doesn't do that. Here we go.
Dudes, what's up? It's Sean. I'm just calling to let you know I'm listening to the Christmas episode right now, and you're talking about peeing in the shower, and I had to pause it. I had to call you. I had to put my 2 cents in. Okay, so here's my morning routine. You guys ready for this? You strapped in? I wake up, It doesn't matter how bad I gotta pee. I just turn that shower on, I get right in, and I turn around, I just aim for the drain. That's what I do. That's my morning routine.
Aim for the drain. Yeah.
No biggie. I don't make a mess out of it. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard someone so against it. Also, I've never heard the phrase waffle stomping, referring to, pooping in the shower. But, I have no idea what game you guys are talking about, but I hope it's pretty awesome. And rock on, guys. Keep on keeping on. You keep doing you. Yeah.
All right, we'll do that,
Bye,
Sean.
guys.
Appreciate
Have
it.
a great show.
We'll keep doing us. We'll do
Okay.
us. You do
Yeah,
you.
and you keep peeing in the shower.
I guess he just aims for the drain, just goes right down the drain. I guess he's just got a big hole in his thing. I don't know, in the bottom of his shower. I guess I just assume that anybody that pees in the shower just goes in there and just goes wee, just all over
You're
the
not
place.
peeing on the walls. Like,
Well, if it's first thing in the morning, it would be kind of hard to point down at the drain, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
true.
So tell me how that works, Sean.
You got to arch it.
Actually, I don't want to know, Sean.
Yeah, let's
Don't.
stop.
Yeah, let's leave it there. You pee in the
I'm a
drain?
vet. If you guys want to get blue, I'll get blue.
No, we're okay. All right, here we go. Here's another one.
Hey, dude, Jay. What's up, man? Hey, I was just listening to the new Two Dudes episode. Oh, you mean the Christmas one? Yeah, the one where Justin, well, not Justin, but
Okay, Dude Jay is just having his own little conversation with himself. Okay, here we go.
Michael says, hey, peeing in the shower is kind of gross, and then immediately proceeds to make the waffle stomping joke. Yeah, that one was pretty funny, right?
It was funny, Jay.
Yeah, well, Michael, you just pee in the shower. You pee in the shower. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just pee in the shower. Just do it. And Christmas, well, it's going into Christmas. It's the day before Christmas Eve. So I'm hoping I get a little too much to drink this weekend, and hopefully I'll call you up and leave a really good message.
Nice. He never did, unfortunately.
He must not have had enough to drink. Or maybe
Or too much and just forgot.
Yeah.
All right, one more. This one may be about Die Hard, actually.
Hey, dudes. I heard you guys covered Die Hard. I've never actually played that game. Sorry. But I heard it was based on a movie. I've never actually seen that movie. Sorry. I did see a movie called Live Free or Die Hard. I can't wait till you guys cover that game. But the real reason I was calling is because I heard you guys covered Bad News Baseball, and you guys left something very important out. Nobody mentioned that it's a survival horror game. The umpires are evil Easter bunnies from hell.
Oh, okay.
That's so bogus. I mean, you might as well replace them with Sergeant Slaughter. It's just terrifying. Oh. I'll go back to playing RBI baseball. I can't handle that.
This turned into a horror
Anyway, can't wait for you guys to cover Captain Skyhawk. I know it's supposed to be our next game. So excited. And I'll give you a little advice. Always upgrade your cannons first. And just give it to them. Just go full speed, full throttle. It's awesome. All right, can't wait to hear it. All right, see you next time. Later.
Was
You think
Captain
it's-
Skyhawk supposed to be our next game?
You think it's possible somebody really hasn't seen Die Hard?
It's possible. Do I think it's likely? No.
Best Christmas story ever.
That's right. Although some would argue it's not Christmas Story, but we already got into that.
That's
All right,
another
well-
game that was awesome in the arcades. I didn't really care for the Nintendo version.
Well, we talked about it on the last show. I think we decided we actually kind of liked it, but go back and listen to that episode if you want to
did.
listen to
Yeah.
something about Die Hard. I'm talking to everybody.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thought you were telling me to go listen.
It's weird when you're talking on a podcast. I'm talking to you literally, but metaphorically, metaphysically, whatever the term is. I'm
Talking
also
to the masses.
talking to everybody, right?
You break
When
it
I say
down
you,
are you breaking down the fourth wall, or fourth ear,
yeah,
third ear,
third ear, 3D, 4D, 5D,
3E?
7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Bert, tell us one more time how to find your YouTube, and then we'll let Justin close us out.
Sure. You can find me on YouTube, Bert the Stormtrooper, and you can find me on Facebook at Bert the Stormtrooper Reviews.
All right, sweet. And Justin, how can they find us?
Go to our website, twodudesinaNest.com, nintendudes.com, or nesdudes.com. And you can always find us on any social media, Facebook, Twitter. Leave us feedback. Go join Ryan Ballard over there at Google Plus. Give us some feedback, and we'll read it on the show. And also, always give us some iTunes reviews. And we'd love to play your calls like we just did. And you can call us at...
I'll do it. I'm almost done. Yep.
You can call us at...
our telephone number. Sorry. I got to take the dog out here in just a second. Speaking of the dog. You can call us at 775-7-RETRO-1, or that is 775-773-8761, or go on the website, nesdudes.com. On the mobile version, there's a little phone up in the corner. Hit that button, and bada bing, bada boom, you're calling us.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Retro Junkies. Shout out to the Wee Dude for the music. Appreciate that. And shout out to the Fox Dude for the logo. Love it.
Yeah.
And until next time, Two Dudes out. That's our new outro. I haven't told you yet, but
All right.
I'm just kidding.
I like it.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye.